Okay, folks, we're going to start reading from Chapter 2 today in the PTSD Trauma and Fear of Death book. I hope you all have a copy. If not, you can certainly get it on Amazon.com. Chapter 2. But fighting back against PTSD, trauma, fear of death takes more than good, healthy, consistent physical therapy. Now, we were discussing this the last time we were taping. That it would certainly be wise for all veterans, all people really, to consider their physical therapy and good lifestyle and good health. So many of the veterans come in here, they are in terrible health. I know why. It's because they're not sleeping. We have to sleep good in order to heal. They sleep horribly, therefore they do not heal. And I insist that whatever medical problems that they have will only get worse and more will be added on, and no doctor will be able to cure them until they finally get to the place where they actually start sleeping good. When they start sleeping good, they will start healing. But in the meantime, the way to fight it back, to some degree anyway, is to do some sort of physical therapy. And I described that the last time we talked, so I'm not going to take too much time for this. But the big thing with physical therapy is we have to be consistent. We have to be disciplined. We have to have enough structure, discipline to us. Being former military personnel, we should know all about discipline and structure. I hope so. That's what the military is supposed to be teaching us a bunch. So we should not be letting ourselves wear down and wear out because we're not tending to physical therapy. There's three therapies, folks: physical therapy, mental therapy, spiritual therapy. Not too many people pay very much attention at all to any one of the three, but we have to, folks. We have to. We got to get our minds right too. We got to get this fight back attitude about us. We got to stop being so scared of everything where we can't even sleep at night. Does that happen to plenty of the veterans, PTSD veterans? Yes. Are they scared to sleep at night? Yes. They're afraid to shut their eyes. They're afraid of whatever danger is going to come and get them in the middle of the night. What kind of danger is lurking outside their doors, outside their walls, around their house. So they're scared around their house, in their house. They don't want to go to sleep at night. They really wish that they didn't have to sleep at night at all, that they could keep their eyes open all night long and keep a watch on everything. They'd like to run, do guard duty 24/7 is what they'd really like to do. But we got to fight back, folks. We got to get this attitude that we can get well and we're going to get well, because of course we can get well. This is not no hocus pocus magical thing that any pill is going to fix. There is no such thing as a pill fixing this. As I've said many times before, as I've said many times before, psychiatrists heal as many people as the bartender. None. They never did, and they never will, because you have to learn something new, and pills and alcohol don't teach anything. So they cannot cure you, and they will not cure you. Scared people are not social. This is chapter 2, verse 3. Scared people are not social. They can't take their wives or husbands out. They can't take their kids out. They can't go shopping. They can't handle heavy traffic. They can't keep a job in many instances, in many cases, and that's true too. They have to get drunk, got to get drunk, or smoke a bunch of marijuana all the time to keep the demons out of their head. And that does work temporarily for that period of time. But lots of alcohol, lots of marijuana, medications really mess up our thinking in such a way that we're not thinking our thoughts about Vietnam, whatever war that we went through, our PTSD, is so discombobulated by the marijuana, alcohol, or medications that we're not thinking on those things at that moment anyway. And so I guess we have some sort of momentary peace for that period of time. However, the next day, when all of that stuff wears off, now we're face to face again with all our fear, stress, trauma, and anxiety, just like we were the day before. It's a never-ending cycle, and this goes on another day, another week, another month, another year. And so therefore it makes it very difficult indeed to continue our lives and be the husband and father our family needs us to be, or the wife and mother our family needs us to be. There's many things to tend to in our families, folks, that the other people in our family, and we're very much into ourselves, and we're not being very social, I suppose, interactive with our family members. And of course, it's affecting them greatly. They're wondering what's wrong. They don't get it. They don't understand what PTSD is. They see that you are glum, that you have no energy, no happiness to you. They're wondering, is it their fault? Are they doing something wrong? There's all sorts of negative ramifications from having PTSD in your families, folks. We got to put some effort into this. We got to get this attitude that I'm going to get right. I can get right. I can get fixed. I can get well. My family needs it, and by golly, I'm going to do it because I want to be everything I can to my family and to the boss at work too. How horrible is all that? The marijuana, the alcohol, constantly. Not to mention getting all the medical effects those bring on. Well, there you go too. That's a good point too. Thank you very much. Thank me very much for making that point. I mean, not only are we trying to drink our problems away or smoke our problems away with marijuana, which never is going to happen. I've went over that plenty of times. I've mentioned that plenty of times. But then it's going to have negative effects on our health. Our health is going to deteriorate. That much alcohol, that much marijuana over such a long period of time is not going to do us well. You know, a lot of people take vitamins, right? So they take vitamin A, B, C, D, E, all sorts of vitamins like that, which is good. It's good. That's good physical therapy, you know, to keep our body in shape and stuff like that. But then along comes, and so that adds a nice little plus to us every day, makes us all sorts of, it's supposed to make us all sorts of happy and strong, and that's good, healthy and strong, and that's good. But then we come along with all this alcohol, and that alcohol is going to have a negative effect. I'm wondering if the vitamins have as much positive effect as the alcohol has negative effect. It's something to consider. I don't know what the numbers are. All sorts of formulas can be put together on that, considering your metabolism, how much alcohol you drink, what kind of alcohol you drink, what kind of day you had, what kind of vitamins you take. All that sort of stuff comes into play. But I would have to think that any amount of alcohol takes away from the positive effects all those vitamins were intended to give us. Something to consider. Anyways, through all the medical problems that we have from drinking and smoking marijuana, taking all these medications too from the VA or whoever we get our medications from, and we get plenty of medications from other sources. It doesn't matter, the medications are the same, and they, after a long period of time, can have tremendous, huge effects on us too. So even the medications from the doctor will have huge negative medical effects on us over time. There is no doubt about that. So a lot of that is reversible up to a certain point, but after we've been saturated and soaked in it for months and years, it's going to be harder and harder and more difficult to reverse those negative effects. So definitely do consider that. Don't let this happen to you or to anyone. You can get well and still be a great husband, father, or wife, mother to your family. You always got to remember that. You can get well. Having PTSD, trauma, and the fear of death is like running from a bully. I think I've mentioned that before. We have this big, ugly bully chasing us day and night that we can never get away from. He's always there. Okay, I'm going to have to take a little break here for a moment there, folks, so I'll be back in just a moment. Hang on, please. Thank you. We're going to fumble and stumble, make all sorts of mistakes. We're going to break things, ruin things, purposely, accidentally, without knowledge, all sorts of things. We've made plenty of mistakes in our past. We've done things wrong. We thought we were doing right, and we did it, and it turned out wrong. We intended to do things bad, and we did do them bad, and so now we feel guilty. All the woulda, coulda, shouldas that we had in our life. Everyone has tons of that sort of stuff in their life, folks. Everyone has that. That's why we're here on this earth, is to go through that experience and finally get to the place where we finally get it right, where we finally see and understand what this life is all about. Why are we here? What are we here for? What are we supposed to do? What happens when we die? You know, as I tell people all the time, here's heaven, here's hell, here are we. What are we doing here? If everyone goes to heaven, how come we're here? What's it for? Well, to get some sort of score, to see if we're going to make it. Well, then I guess then that makes that this place is a land and a time of determination, to determine if we're going to finally get it right and go to heaven, or determine if we're never going to get it right and end up going to hell, because we are not going to stay here forever, folks. You know, that's why God gave us 60, 70, 80, 90 years, maybe even 100 years of life, hoping that somewhere along the line we finally get it right. We finally get to the place where we see that there is a God, He is real, He does exist, He loves us, and of course He loves us. He created us. He created people. So of course He loves us, because He made us for that purpose and that for that reason. Did we finally get to the place where we see that and understand that? We see that He gave us His free life, that He is promising us eternity in heaven. He saved our butts 99 times along the way. Do we ever see that? Are we doing anything to show our thanks and appreciation to this God who loves us and created all of this for us? He wants us to make it. He don't care how many mistakes we made, how many things we screwed up, how many things we did wrong, how many sins we committed. The only thing that He's concerned with, did we finally get it right? Did we finally see that there is a God, He is real, He does exist, He wants us in heaven, He has built all of this, He wants us to make it. He would be hurt very dearly, deeply if we didn't make it. He would be very, very pleased and proud if we did make it. This is the thought that we have to have. So many people are still beating up on themselves for the sins, faults, flaws, failures that they did in their past. Forget it, folks. God is not concerned about that at all. The only thing that He's concerned about is, did we finally get it right? Did we finally see that He's a great God? He has done a ton for us and He wants us into heaven. Are we answering that call? That's what we have to see, and that's what we have to understand. If we would have really understood this and grasped this fully before our PTSD event, we would not have gotten PTSD, because we would have known all these things. It is up to us now to know all these things, to learn all these things, so that we can finally get it right. And then, as I always like to say, we get to the point where we are glad that we had the PTSD, that we had the PTSD event happen to us, that we had that experience. We got to get to the place where we are glad that we had that PTSD event happen to us, so that we could finally learn these things that we would never have learned any other way. Before the PTSD event, we were just going around in happy life, thinking everything is just laughs and giggles and lots of fun. And it was pretty much when we were in childhood and in teenage years. Mom and Dad had our back, for the most part. Mom and Dad had our back, and life was lots of laughs and giggles and all sorts of good times and not a worry in the world. Then we grew up, and then we entered into the real world, the adult world, where we got to work and pay bills and do all these sorts of things, and go off to war, where we see all this death, dying, killing, and suffering going on. And then we get traumatized by that. Wow, we didn't grow up like this. Where is all this coming from? Where is this all going to? What's this life all about? Why are we here? What are we here for? What are we supposed to do? What happens when we die? I have life now. I don't know where it came from. Here I am. I wasn't here 100 years ago. I won't be here 100 years from now. But here I am, and I'm going to die. What's that all about? What happens when I die? All these other people died. I could have died. I didn't. I don't know why. I should have, but I didn't. So what am I supposed to do now? All of these questions in our head. What did I do wrong? I should have done this. I could have done this. I didn't. People died. I didn't. I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay just as bad as these people that died. They got blown up, torn up, burned up, dead. I'm going to end up like that too one day. That's horrible. I can't stand it. This is what PTSD is all about. We got to say, no, folks, that is not the way this thing works. So that's what I'm trying to explain. And that's why I wrote my book, the PTSD Trauma and Fear of Death book. I do hope you get a copy. I'm going to continue reading from this book until I read it all the way through, and then I might very much start all over again. I do have 2 books out, the Volume 1 and the Volume 2. Currently I'm reading Volume 2, and I'm in Chapter 2. And you know what, I am reading over where I left off before. I hope that video's out there somewhere. I'm currently in Chapter 2, and I'm reading at verse 30, well, maybe verse 29 right now. Geez, I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to find the exact spot that I'm at. and then we're going to have to continue on from there. So thanks for joining me today, folks. Look for the next segment of Dr. Monroe Open Sessions. I'm planning on having some guests come on. If any of you guests want to be on the show to discuss your problem of that sort, I would be more than pleased. Please give us a call. I think that our email is available, Dr. Monroe Open Sessions at gmail.com. Please send us an email saying that you'd like to be on the show. Let me spell that out. That's Dr. Monroe, DRM, Open Sessions at gmail.com. Thanks for joining me. I'm looking forward to seeing you folks again. Thank you very much. Okay, I want to continue. Thanks for coming back, folks. Having PTSD, trauma, fear of death is like running from a bully. I don't know if any of you ever ran from a bully. I used to be bullied back in high school. I'm not going to get into the story too much. But it all ended up with me not being able to run anymore, being cornered, and having to fight. Now, you know, the fight-flight thing, well, I was doing the flight thing for quite a bit because I was scared to fight. But I got cornered, basically, and I had to fight. And fight I did. And that bully problem ended right there, let me say. The bully problem ended right there. So I confronted the bully, and I'm glad that situation happened to me, too. Because if I had not been cornered, I probably would have continued to run. Which is, you know, what a lot of people do. When we encounter something scary, we run, typically. Unless we can't, and then we have to fight. And so I'm glad that that situation happened to me. I had plenty of time running, and then I was also presented with the place of being in a position where I couldn't run no more, and I had to fight. And so I had to confront the bully. And this is what we have to do with PTSD. We have to finally quit running to the bartender, to the psychiatrist, to some counselor somewhere, to marijuana. That's all running. That's running from the bully. The bully being PTSD, trauma, fear of death. We have to finally take this thing on. We have to have this inner strength about us, this confidence about us, this new attitude about us, where we're not going to run no more. We're going to take this thing on. And I'm going to tell you, folks, it's going to be a lot easier to take on than a fist fight in the corner in an alley somewhere. We're going to have to, this thing is not going to swing at us, it's not going to stab us, it's not going to shoot us, it's not going to beat us up, throw us to the ground and stomp all over us. It's not going to do that, because this bully is all inside our head. The bully I confronted was an actual living human being, a guy several years older than me and bigger than me. Not a lot, though. Not a lot bigger than me, but several years older, and that was scary enough right there. I was a freshman in high school, he was a senior. So anyway, so we have to have the attitude that we're not going to run no more. We're not going to run to the bartender. We're not going to run to the psychiatrist. We're not going to run to the marijuana man. We're going to take this thing on. We're sick and tired of living this life. We got to get to the place where we're sick and tired of living this life, and we're going to have this attitude that we're going to take it on, because all of our running never got us what we needed it to do. It never got us away from the bully. We're still chasing, it's still chasing us, and we're still running, and this has got to end. This has been going on days and weeks and months and years. When's it going to end? It's only going to end when we decide, when we finally get the right attitude and decide that we're going to fight back. Because if we don't, we're always looking over our shoulders, and he's always right there. Yep, every time, boy, that was scary. When I was in the hallways in high school, freshman year, out there in the hallways and stuff between classes, always looking over my shoulder. Where's the bully? Where's the bully? And he confronted me on a bunch of occasions. On a bunch of occasions right there in the hallway. And of course, I wasn't going to fight him there. Didn't want to fight him at all. I ducked and ran, for Pete's sake. But nonetheless, until I finally had my little encounter with him in the alley, I was always looking over my shoulder, which is what we do, folks. I mean, that's how it is. We got to understand it. We got to admit that. We can see that. We can understand it. We know that. We know what's going on there. And it's never going to go away until we confront it. He's scary. I was scared. And so we ran and hid. I ran and hid. We became shut-ins. Yeah, I didn't want to go outside or anything like that. I wanted to stay undercover. We never show our faces. We never go anywhere. Yeah, I don't want my face out there anyway. He spots my face. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. So we finally got to man up and stand up to the big fat ugly piece of trash and stomp all over it. And that's the attitude that we have to have. We're going to stand up to this big fat ugly piece of trash. Now the guy I met had my little thing with my bully was not big and fat. He was ugly though. And I had no choice but to stomp all over that piece of trash. So we got to put this vision in our head and think on it over and over again. So that becomes our way of thinking about this thing. We got to think of us fighting that bully. We got to think of us confronting this PTSD thing, grabbing it by the collar and just pounding the living daylights out of it, stomping on it on the ground and just stomping it into the sidewalk into the ground like a big ugly bug on the sidewalk. And we got to have that attitude. We want to fight back. We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to be hard. We're supposed to be mean. We're supposed to be tough. Come on, this PTSD thing is baloney. We feel that we done wrong, we done bad in the back, and that's the bully. Keep chasing us, telling us we've done wrong, we've done bad in the back, in our back, in our past and stuff like that. Baloney, baloney, baloney. We gotta put that vision in our head. We gotta have that attitude. I don't care how big, fat, ugly, and bad stinking breath that thing has. All of that is just to scare you so you don't stand up so that you just keep on running. Because it knows it doesn't have a thing to hurt you with. See, the reason it tries to go boo in the middle of the night and always scare us and stuff like that is because it knows that it's only has that to work with. We think that it can actually hurt us. No, it can't. I mean, if it could, it would. I think that's what I say here somewhere. And I'll say it right now because it seems to be a good time. If I read it again a little bit later, then I'll skip over it. But one of my sayings is, if it could have hurt us, it would have hurt us. Since it didn't hurt us, it proves it can't hurt us. So all it can do is try to scare us, go boo and try to scare us. If it really could hurt us, whatever this bully is that we're running from, if it really could hurt us, it would have hurt us, but it can't hurt us. It didn't hurt us because it can't hurt us, and we got to understand that. This thing is not going to hurt us. We think it is. It's got us thinking it will. It's going to hurt us. It goes boo all the time. We don't want to sleep at night. We think it's coming to get us. But if it was coming to get us and sneaking around, it would have got us. And it didn't get us, which proves it can't get us. Believe me, if those demons could have hurt you, they would have hurt you. Well, there it is. But since they didn't hurt you, proves they can't hurt you. And so that means you can fight it back all day long. Know that it's nothing, this bully thing. It can't hurt you. It can only try to scare you because that's all it's got. Big, ugly, smelly, and nothing more. That's all it's got. Big, ugly, smelly, and nothing more. But as it actually hurting you, no. It's just a big bed of ugly trying to scare you because it can't do anything more than scare you. And if it sees it can scare you, it will keep scaring you till the day you die. And does that happen a bunch? Oh yeah. I want to read that again. It's just a big bag of ugly trying to scare you because it can't do anything more than scare you. And if it sees it can scare you, it will keep scaring you till the day you die. That's what, and does that happen to plenty of people? That happens to plenty of people. That's what it's trying to do, people. It wants to destroy you. Learn that so you can fight back hard. This is why PTSD goes on for years. It's because we don't fight back. But we don't fight back because we don't have the knowledge and understanding of what we're fighting against. That's a good point. I hope I explained that. PTSD, trauma, fear of death, is something from your past that is still eating you, still bugging you, making you think you are ruined and doomed and will forever be exactly that until the day you die and get sent to hell forever and ever, where you will never have anybody to love or be loved by ever again because you don't deserve that because of what you did. What a lousy thought, but you know what? That very much says it quite accurately why we have PTSD, trauma, and the fear of death. It is something from our past that is still eating us, still bugging us, making us think we are ruined and doomed and will forever be exactly that, ruined and doomed, until the day we die and get sent to hell forever and ever, where we will never have anybody to ever love again or be loved by ever again, because we don't deserve that because of what we did. Wow, that's a harsh punishment, but that's what a lot of people, and that's why they are trembling and shaking, because that's a scary thought. We like this earth, we can see things, we can move around. Some days are nice and sunny. Today is not one of those, but that's okay. We got to get some rain too, and some storms too, and today is one of those days. But we got to, we like this earth, we got people that we love, we got people that love us, we laugh and joke and kid and tease, at least before the PTSD anyway. And so this life is pretty nice, and again, we got people that we love, people that love us, we have all sorts of friends, we have good times. We get sent to hell because of the punishment we feel that is coming, and that is going to be terrible for us to deal with. That is a horrible thought. I'm sure, when we were dating back in the day, grade school, not so much grade school, but at least high school, a little bit after, we ran into some guy, some gal that we really liked a whole bunch, and we started dating with them and stuff, and it was wonderful, it was wonderful. We all loved that tremendously, but then we got dumped, and we dumped others, and others dumped us, and that is hurtful and painful. And to be sentenced to an eternity of misery, being basically dumped where there is no one to love, no one to ever love us back, is excruciating, folks. It is excruciating. It is very, very painful, and we don't want that. And we think that that is what we are destined to have because of what we did in our past. That is so wrong. We got to get over that. I don't care what it was we did in our past. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what are we doing now? What have we learned from that? How have we changed? Did we finally get it right? I know we all screwed up in our past. We all screwed up. Everyone screws up in their past. I don't care how rich and famous and pretty and beautiful and powerful you are. It doesn't matter. We have all screwed up plenty in our past. When we are born, little bitty babies, when we are born, we don't know anything about anything. So we're going to make all sorts of mistakes.